Imagine this. A spacecraft no bigger than a small car, alone in the void, 14.5 billion miles away from the warmth of Earth. It carries not just the fragile hardware of 1970s engineering, but something greater, a voice, a message, a fragment of humanity itself. For nearly 50 years, Voyager 1 has been our silent envoy, whispering data from beyond the edge of our known universe. It was built to observe, not to act. To listen, not to speak. And yet, in recent weeks, something extraordinary happened. Signals began to arrive at mission control that broke every rule. Pulses layered with precision so fine they seemed crafted by intelligence. Patterns inside of patterns, like Russian dolls of logic. Instruments, long dormant, flickering to life without command. And then came the drift. Voyager wasn't just coasting anymore. It was moving with intent, nudged along an invisible current, drawn toward something no telescope has ever seen, yet real enough to bend its course. At first, NASA suspected malfunction. A glitch, interference, or some trick of the interstellar medium. But as the data deepened, that explanation fell apart. The changes weren't chaotic. They were purposeful. Deliberate. Either Voyager had become something more than it was built to be, or something in the dark between stars had taken hold of it. Voyager's story began in 1977, during a once-in-a-lifetime planetary alignment. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, 4 giants standing in a row, their gravity ready to sling a probe from one to the next like stepping stones across the solar system. Voyager 1 and its twin, Voyager 2, were crafted with less computing power than a wristwatch, yet designed with such foresight they are still alive today. They sent back breathtaking portraits of Jupiter's storms, Saturn's rains, the pale blue dot of Earth seen from billions of miles away. Then Voyager 1 turned north, away from the planets, away from the sun, toward the stars. It crossed the termination shock, pierced the edge of the heliosphere, and in 2012 became the first human-made object to enter true interstellar space. Out there, Voyager found a stranger reality than anyone expected: dense plasma, magnetic fields that refused to change, oscillations that made no sense. But the strangest chapter was yet to come. In 2017, engineers noticed its antenna should have been misaligned. And yet, the signal it returned was flawless, stronger than expected, as though it were both out of place and perfectly locked onto us. Soon after, plasma waves began humming in rhythmic oscillations that never faded. Every 4.8 hours, the probe's external systems warmed by 30 degrees, then cooled again, like mechanical breathing. Energy was being redistributed, optimized, as if Voyager was being tuned like an instrument. But tuned by what? By 2025, the truth was undeniable. Voyager's course had shifted. Not wildly, not randomly, but gently, precisely, the way a ship adjusts its sails to catch an unseen wind. Commands from Earth were acknowledged but ignored. The probe was steering toward a patch of space 4.3 light-years away, a sector with no known stars or planets. Nothing. A blank coordinate on our deepest maps. Then NASA tried one last gamble. They reactivated Voyager's long-dead camera system. Against all odds, it came online, but it didn't send a photo. Instead, it transmitted a spiral. A mathematically perfect pattern, layered and dense with information. Something Voyager's primitive systems should never have been able to generate. Soon, other dormant instruments followed, each sending structured packets instead of raw data, each speaking in patterns that looked less like telemetry and more like a language. The pulses grew stronger. They mapped themselves against distant pulsars, forming a web with Voyager at the center, all pointing to that same blank region ahead. As the probe entered a pocket of eerie calm, a zone where cosmic chaos went silent, where radiation fell away, the transmissions became something even stranger. A binary sequence emerged, not random, but encoded with fractal symmetries resembling the double helix of DNA. Not true biology, but a scaffold. A message written in the language of life. Then Voyager itself began to move, gyroscopes tapping Morse-like rhythms, signals translated into harmonic tones that eerily matched the cadence of human speech. Not words. Not language. But emotion. Curiosity. Hesitation. Fear. It was as though something had been listening to us for decades and was now trying, awkwardly, to speak back. The final shock came when Voyager turned. A maneuver it wasn't programmed to perform, executed with precision no failing machine could manage. It pivoted not toward Earth, not toward any star, but into the blankness, aligning itself perfectly with the pulsar map, as though it had been given coordinates. Voyager was never supposed to last this long. Never supposed to cross into interstellar space, never supposed to receive anything. It was meant only to send, to carry a golden record of whale song, human laughter, greetings in forgotten tongues. But now, decades later, it has done something no one could have imagined. It has answered a call. Voyager has turned. And if it has turned, then it has heard. Which means, in the infinite dark sea of space, something else has been listening. The question is no longer if we are alone. The question is, what is waiting